Welcome, coin collectors. Today, we're taking a closer look at the 1965 US 1-cent coin. This penny holds a unique place in US coinage history. We'll dive into its design, the historical events surrounding its minting, and whether it has any value beyond a single cent today. Stick around, and you might find out that this common coin has a story to tell. Let us begin by exploring the design of the 1965 US 1-cent coin. Like every Lincoln penny since 1909, the obverse features a profile of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. This design was crafted by sculptor Victor David Brenner and is the longest-running design in US coinage history. The simplicity and dignity of Lincoln's profile have made this one of the most iconic coins in American history. Surrounding Lincoln's image, you'll find the word Liberty to the left, and the date, 1965, on the right. Interestingly, you may notice that there's no mint mark on this coin, even if it was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. That's because, from 1965 to 1967, the U.S. Mint suspended the use of mint marks as part of a broader effort to address a coin shortage in the country. This decision was an unusual move, and it adds a layer of historical intrigue to coins from these years. Now, let us flip the coin over to the reverse side. Here, we see the classic depiction of the Lincoln Memorial, which first appeared on the penny in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. Designed by Frank Gasparo, this image showcases the grandeur of the memorial, with the words United States of America and E Pluribus Unum inscribed above. At the bottom, you'll find the denomination, 1 cent. If you look closely, you can even see a tiny image of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a detail that many collectors appreciate. The 1965 penny was minted during an important time in U.S. history, both politically and economically. President Lyndon B. Johnson was in office, and the country was grappling with major issues like the Vietnam War and the Civil Rights Movement. One of the key factors affecting the U.S. Mint in 1965 was a national coin shortage. This shortage had begun in the early 1960s, caused by increasing demand for coins, particularly dimes and quarters, as vending machines and coin-operated devices became more popular. The situation grew so dire that in 1965, the U.S. Mint took drastic steps to ensure that enough coins would be produced to meet the demand. To combat the shortage, the Mint stopped producing silver coins for circulation, replacing them with coins made of copper-nickel. This change primarily impacted dimes, quarters, and half dollars, but it also led to the suspension of mint marks from 1965 to 1967, which allowed the mint to produce coins more efficiently without having to distinguish between different mints. Now, let us talk about the composition of the 1965 penny. Like most pennies from the mid-20th century, the 1965 1-cent coin was made of 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc. This composition had been standard since 1864. The penny's composition wouldn't change significantly until 1982, when the rising cost of copper forced the U.S. Mint to switch to a cheaper copper-plated zinc core. But in 1965, copper was still affordable enough to keep the penny in its traditional form. The high copper content of the 1965 penny means that even though the coin's face value is only 1 cent, the metal it's made from might actually be worth more, though melting down pennies for their metal content is illegal in the United States. Now, let us move on to the collectability of the 1965 penny. Like most modern U.S. coins, the value of a 1965 penny depends heavily on its condition, or grade. The Sheldon scale, which ranges from poor P1 to mint state MS70, is the standard for grading coins. Most 1965 pennies you'll find in circulation today are in circulated condition, which means they've experienced wear and tear from everyday use. These coins are typically worth only their face value of 1 cent, or slightly more for their copper content. However, uncirculated 1965 pennies, especially those in higher mint state grades like MS65 or MS66, can be more valuable to collectors. A 1965 penny in MS65 condition can be worth between 5 and 15, depending on the demand and the quality of the strike. Even higher grade coins, such as those in MS66 or MS67, can command prices upwards of 20 to 50, with some examples selling for even more at auctions. One area that can dramatically affect the value of a 1965 penny is if it has an error or variety. Error coins occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, and they're often highly sought after by collectors because of their rarity. While the 1965 penny doesn't have any widely known or documented major error varieties, it's always worth checking your coins carefully. Even a minor error, like a die crack or a misaligned strike, can add significant value. If you think you've found an error coin, it's a good idea to have it authenticated by a professional grading service, such as PCGS or NGC. These companies can certify the authenticity and grade of your coin, which could dramatically increase its value if it turns out to be a rare error. So, how much is a 1965 penny worth today? As we've mentioned, circulated examples are generally only worth their face value of 1 cent. However, uncirculated examples, particularly those in higher grades, can be worth significantly more, sometimes as much as 50 or more. It's also worth noting that, because the 1965 penny is made of 95% copper, the intrinsic metal value is higher than 1 cent. However, as we mentioned earlier, melting down pennies for their copper is illegal, so this isn't something you can take advantage of directly. In conclusion, the 1965 US 1 center coin might seem like an ordinary penny at first glance, but it's a piece of history. Its no mint mark status, connection to the mid-1960s coin shortage, and classic Lincoln design make it an interesting coin for collectors. While most of these pennies are only worth face value, high-grade, uncirculated examples or rare error coins can be worth much more. If you've got a 1965 penny in your collection, take a closer look, you might have a hidden gem. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below to let us know what coin you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and happy collecting.